What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. I am here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Thursday, June 11th, 2026. My name is Chris Drummond. I'm a freelance sports reporter based out of upstate New York here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a very special guest that's on with me today, as she is too a freelance multimedia journalist. She has made stops in Maine, places like Connecticut, New York, and New Jersey. Her name is Sherry Karabin, and we're going to talk to her about her why of getting into journalism, but we're also going to ask her some get to know you questions. So without any further ado, I introduce you, the wonderful, talented, hardworking, and the beautiful Sherry. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, Sherry, for hopping on. Thank you for hopping on my podcast. I really, like I said, really do appreciate that. And my first question to you is the same as it always is with everybody that hops on this thing. And that is, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? Did you have any role models, any inspirations maybe growing up? But ultimately, what is your why for getting into the journalism industry?
Okay, my why is a little bit kind of weird, maybe for some people, but I grew up on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, and there was one summer when I was a teenager and I was jogging an awful lot. And it
Hmm.
was during a heat wave. I got stopped by a camera crew. They
Okay.
asked me a few questions. They interviewed me, how was I keeping cool? Why was I going jogging in the heat, et cetera, et cetera. And it was cool. But then I think maybe a few weeks later, I thought about it and I thought, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to do something different every single day. I want to speak to different people. I want to be in places that I would normally never have a right to be in, except as a journalist. And from there, I just kind of took it from there and I went to school locally. My undergrad I did at Queens College, and then I
Yep.
got a master's from Northwestern in
Yep.
broadcast journalism. And while I was there, I also focused on some legal reporting. So I kind of got, I got both, so to speak. And then did my final semester in DC, which was part of the program. And it was kind of like on the job training for, doing interviews for very tiny stations across the country that with basically stories that were assigned to me by those stations.
Hmm.
And it was fun. And then I came back to New York. And initially, what I did was I got a job working for American Lawyer Media
Mm.
because it kind of fell into my lap because I was an intern at the American Bar Association. It fell into my lap. I wanted to try it out. That I had been a broadcast major, but I decided to work on print. So I worked for a print place for a while, and after I did that, I did like a mishmash of stuff after that, a bunch of different things. I did a little bit of radio.
Wow.
That was kind of fun. That was
Okay.
definitely fun. I mean, not kind of fun. That was really fun. I really liked it, but I
Sure.
didn't get a full-time job offer or anything like that. And then I worked on a project for a company. I'm not really allowed to go into the detail. It was a kind of a technology experiment, let's say. So I
Okay.
was doing some writing for that project. And eventually I landed my way to working in the Bronx as a medical reporter for News 67. I was freelance. I was there 2 days a week. I did medical stuff for them. And then from there, I ended up working in Jersey for Time Warner Cable, Channel 10.
Mm.
I also did their medical segment, but that was a full-time job. That was doing everything, so to speak. Um, Unfortunately, I got laid off
Right.
because they
Right.
were downsized. And then I worked for Cablevision slash Optimum, whatever you want to call it. I worked for one of their local stations in Jersey, in
Okay.
Hudson County. I did that for quite a while, and again got laid off. I mean, because they basically, well, cable in general is downsized, as everybody knows already. So that's not really news. And as that has happened, I've been laid off. And then I did some freelance work for a station, also a station in Jersey, working for a program called Jersey Matters. And that's where I started doing my own shooting and editing. I'd always done. So that was nothing different.
Mm,
But I started to do my own shooting. And
okay.
eventually the station got sold. I wanted to see what was next. I filled in as a vacation relief reporter in Presque Isle, Maine. It
Okay.
was really it was a very different experience, very positive experience. I loved the people. I loved the station. It was it was definitely fun. I wished that I had accepted the initial offer was full time. I wasn't sure if I wanted full time, but so be it. So I did the vacation relief, came back, still doing a mishmash of stuff, doing some print stuff, and also doing some stuff for some online places. And that's kind of it. Now I've given you my whole resume.
That's okay. That's all right. We got plenty more questions to go, and that's a very good answer. I love that. I love it. Now, you mentioned it within your answer, but I want to know. You went to Queens College, and you also went to Northwestern, which is in Illinois, one of the most prestigious journalism schools out there, for sure, in Northwestern. I want to know, were there any other schools that could have persuaded you from going to either Queens College or Northwestern? And if so, what were those schools?
No, those were really my picks, quite frankly. I chose Queens College for a reason because I really couldn't afford to go away. I
Okay.
I wanted a school that would offer me a good education and a campus situation, and they
Sure.
had a campus. And a lot of the schools in New York City don't have not a real campus. I mean, this place has a campus.
Okay.
With,
Okay.
the trees, the whole 9 yards, it feels like you went away to school even though you didn't. So that was why I picked it. And I majored in communications. And then from there, I decided I needed to really get my journalism skills in check, so to speak. And I kind of had my plan was to go away. And I wanted to do broadcast. Northwestern had more of a broadcast program than Columbia did, and a few other schools had some good broadcast programs. But
For sure. For sure.
I don't. I chose. I did my research. I chose that one. I applied. I got in, etc. And that's why I went there.
I love it. I love it. Now, Sherry, what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask some favorite questions. Okay, and you just give me the 411 off the rip based upon these favorite questions. Okay, so here we go. Uh, Favorite meal you like to cook?
Well, I don't cook. That is one thing. My mother was the best cook around, and I could have
Okay.
learned had I wanted. I just never had much of an interest in cooking. My favorite meal, though, is sushi.
Okay.
I don't
So,
make it,
fun
obviously.
fact: I've never had sushi in my life. Never have tried sushi in my life. Um, you probably asking why. I don't know whether to eat it raw or cooked for the first time. But they come both ways. I just don't know which one to try first. So
Cooked. A
cooked.
boyfriend
Okay.
of mine was like a sushi fanatic, and he couldn't deal that I had never tried it, and I was like, oh, I don't want to try it, I don't want to try it. And he's like, just a little bite. And then first time I tried it, I was like, maybe not. Then I tried it again, I was like, maybe. And then by the fourth time I was hooked, and then I ate the cooked stuff initially, then I prefer it raw.
See, I'm like that with Chipotle. When I tried with Chipotle, I tried the first
Yeah.
time, I was hooked. I was hooked on Chipotle, or the first time was okay, but then by the fourth time, I was certainly hooked there. So now I got to get my tacos, my chicken tacos with the brown rice and the guacamole and all that. I got to get that every time I go to Chipotle. So I feel it. I feel it. Um,
I don't eat actual meat, actually. I'm a pescatarian. I don't eat meat. I stopped doing
okay,
that about 6 years ago.
I can
Uh,
respect it.
I'm an
Oh,
animal lover, but I always felt like, people say they're an animal lover, then they eat animal meat, and I just kind of wanted to make everything match. So now I can say that in good conscience. I
okay.
know, poor little fish, right? But
Yeah, but that's okay. Listen, you got to eat. I understand. I totally understand it, right? So,
yeah.
I totally understand. I love fish too, so it's amazing. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
I don't know if I have a favorite one.
Mm,
I've seen so many concerts in my lifetime, and I mean I like country music, and I also like pop music.
okay.
So when I mean I've seen Alabama when they were playing. Obviously, I liked
Mm,
Alabama as a country band.
okay.
I've seen Jason Aldean. I like Jason Aldean a lot. Pink. If I had to pick from pop music, which concert I liked, I went to a Pink concert one time
Amazing.
where I
He's
was not
amazing.
the person who, I didn't buy the tickets, so I was on the floor. The like in Madison Square Garden, really close is what I mean to say. And I
Oh,
wasn't the
okay.
one who purchased. If I had purchased, never would have happened in a million years.
Got
I
you.
don't have the
Okay.
money.
Yes, that's pretty steep prices. Madison Square Garden on the floor, but that is a pretty amazing concert to go to. Pink, because if you ever been to a Pink show, she is like a trapeze. Like she's, I'm probably saying it wrong, but she's like bouncing all over the place. There's lights going everywhere. It's the show is
Yes.
just she puts on a great show, no question about it. I had the pleasure of going to two of her concerts before. I do know Alabama. Obviously, their song that comes to my mind is a Dixieland Delight. Um,
I like
which
that. I also
yeah,
like Love in the First Degree.
that's another one. That's another one that comes to my mind as well. Those two particulars of songs come to my mind when we're talking about the group Alabama for sure. But I like that. Okay, favorite place, Sherry, you've ever traveled to?
This will sound probably funny as an adult for me to say this, but Disneyland. I
Mm,
really truly believe the one in California, Anaheim. For me, it's the happiest place on earth. I go there, I could have a lot of problems going on in my life, and I just would forget them within seconds. And I won't remember them while I'm there. It's just, I'm just so happy.
Okay. All right. Now I'm very familiar with Disneyland. Growing up in San Diego, California, Anaheim was literally about an hour and 15 minutes away from me. So I definitely had many trips up to Disneyland. Space Mountain is one of my favorite places. I've never been to Disney World. So the only place of Disney that I went to was Disneyland. So hopefully I can go to Disney World at least once in my life now as an adult. That'd be just amazing just to go there, to say I've been there. So that would be cool. But I like your
I
place.
have
That's
been
pretty.
to Disney World and I love Disney World, but the problem that I find is that you need more time. You need because it's so big that you
Yeah,
really need to spend an entire week there versus if you go to Disneyland, you could probably get it done. If you
in
want
a day.
to, you can
In
get
a
it,
day,
yeah, one day. And I don't have necessarily that much time to vacation. So,
for sure, for sure. Okay, I like that. I like that. I think that's the first time ever on my podcast somebody's mentioned Disneyland as a spot. So I appreciate that. I'm a sports person, Sherry. So I'm gonna ask you this two-part sports question. Okay, so favorite sport you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport you like to attend in person?
They may be the same exact one.
I love it.
I generally like to go to basketball games. That I've been to different sporting events. Basketball games have been the most fun for me.
Are you a Knicks
You know,
fan?
not necessarily. I was hoping you weren't going to ask that question.
Are you a Nets fan? Brooklyn?
Yeah, that'll make you laugh, probably. Yeah.
But that's okay. No, that does not make me laugh at all. You're rooting for the hometown team. I love that. I love it. Now, mind you, obviously the Brooklyn Nets haven't been very good in recent years, but doesn't mean they won't be good again. And the Barclays Center is a beautiful place. Been there once. Plan on going again. Obviously, that's where the New York Liberty plays, which they recently won a championship a couple years ago. And I'm a huge WNBA fan, basketball as well. Um, so yeah, and obviously there's a lot of buzz down there in New York City. With
Oh, yeah, people lost their minds at this point.
oh, no
People have
question.
totally lost their minds. But
No question.
uh,
Now, how is it down there? Because, like I said, you are in the city, so walking around, like, what's the environment down there in New York City? I mean, Game Three, you had President Trump there. They had security type of craziness going on there. Game Four was the largest comeback in NBA Finals history. There was
I
people outside
know.
just doing all kinds of crazy things.
I
How is
know.
the energy out there in New York City right now on the streets?
Well, I don't think generally speaking anybody should go and say that they don't like the Knicks because you never know. I wasn't near the garden when any of these events were happening. I do know
Right.
that I've seen on the news how people have responded, but I would not necessarily go up to a Knicks fan and say what I just said, even though I kind of did say what I just said.
This is true, but you still repping New York. It's not like you are going up to a Knicks fan saying you're a Celtics fan, or you saying like you're a Orlando fan or a Detroit fan. Like you said you're Nets. That's still Brooklyn. That's still New York. They're not going
It
to
is.
right. You know what I mean? So that that's staying within the state, But if anybody's a Celtics fan that's out there in New York, and you go up to a Knicks fan, that's dangerous. That's some dangerous stuff right there, because they are all on TV wilding right now. Obviously, we're talking about New York Knicks being up 3-1 in the NBA Finals with 3 games potentially left to play. The Knicks need one more to get their first championship in 53 years since
Yeah, that's
1973.
true. I mean,
Mhm.
I will say that a number of years back, it was when the Cavaliers won after, having a dry spell. The Cleveland Cavs, because my family, my mom's side anyway, is from Ohio and is from Northeast Ohio specifically.
For sure.
So I was really into that whole situation, and I was rooting for the Cavs, and I was pretty, I was pretty dedicated watching it.
Oh, for
So
sure. One of my favorite NBA Finals series to watch. I mean, that was the one where Bron they went to Game 7. Cavs beat the Warriors in 2016, 10 years ago. That happened, and that was also the same year. Not only did Cleveland break their curse, but the Cubs broke their
broke.
108-year curse and beat the Cleveland now Guardians. They was the Indians then, but now the Guardians, because both Cleveland teams was in the World Series and the NBA Finals. They made it that year, so that was amazing. Okay, I like that. Last of the favorites. Now, I'm a huge foodie. I've been to the city a couple of times. Um, I would like to know, what is your favorite place to go out and eat at?
It's going to be a sushi restaurant. There's one on
Okay,
the Upper West Side that I've kind of always liked over the years because the food is consistently good and the prices aren't crazy. It's called, I think I'm pronouncing it right. It's Tenzin, Tenzen. I think
okay,
it's Tenzin. I'm not sure. I couldn't swear that I pronounced it right. It's on
oh,
Columbus Avenue. And
okay.
it's not that it's so fancy, but I like good. I like to have the consistency. I like to know that whatever it is I'm going to order, I'm going to be happy with.
I love it. Okay, I'm gonna have to keep that in mind. Like I said, I've never tried sushi. Obviously, when I do come down to the city, I'm gonna have to say hello to you, Sherry. Maybe we can go out for some sushi and I could try it for the
Yeah,
first
let's
time with
do
you.
that. I was thinking
Yeah.
that I
Yes.
could show you what to order for the very first time.
Yes, I definitely need help in that department. No question about that. No question. And obviously, I will make my way down there because Fanatics Fest is in July, which is next month. So I'm definitely going to be down there for that. So, like I said, we'll definitely have to catch up for that for sure. No question. Okay. Um, I want to talk about your day-to-day operations. You know, as a freelancer and as a journalist, no 2 days are ever the same, especially as a
That's true.
freelancer, right? We're always making calls, pitching stories, different things of that nature. I'm pitching to different teams to be able to cover teams, or to be able to cover different events, and sports. Is always to just pitch stuff, right? I want to know, what is your day to day operation as a freelance multimedia journalist? When do you start? When do you finish? How often do you work? And stuff like that.
I pretty much work 7 days a week, I would say. I don't work maybe every hour of that 7 day week, but I kind of arrange my schedule so that I can pretty much squeeze everything in. I do a lot of different things at the same time. I have some steady clients. One of them is in Ohio, actually. It's the Akron Legal News. So I don't pitch to them because they give me stuff, so that makes it easier. And then I've written for National Jurist, Pre Law Magazine. They also have given me the assignments. I did write for the LA Business Journal for a little bit, and they
Okay.
also primarily gave me the assignments, so I don't so much pitch per se.
Right.
When I've worked for Hudson TV, which is an online news, how do I, online digital news service, I guess is how I would. It's in Hudson County, New Jersey. I know
Right.
the owner, and um, usually, again, stories are given to me. That one is brought, is on camera though. So there's that one. I also substitute teach just like you.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, indeed. Now, what grades do you normally teach?
I have no education credits, so I'm not a teacher. So I can't say normally. It's more like it's whatever, I get calls. I make a decision if I want to do it that day.
Yeah.
And then I consider what they're asking, and that's how I make a decision. So sometimes, I mean, I've done younger kids, I've done older kids. I prefer high school, but it doesn't always work like that.
Yeah,
So.
I've been sub teaching now for combination of a couple years. I've been out here ever since last August, so that's about 10 months. So I've been sub teaching K through 12. I predominantly sub middle school, so sixth through eighth, but fourth and fifth graders I get a lot too. That's what I actually did today. I actually had the fifth graders today that I was teaching. Yeah, I love it. It gives me great flexibility because you get up in the morning, you have your morning stuff done, especially for a sports person, because we know that sports are nights and weekends. So I'm still able to go to the games, cover the games, talk to the players and the coaches, come up with stories, and then the weekends I have free. I have free every single weekend. So I love that. And I don't have to worry about teaching. I can just do my sports. And if there's no sports, I can watch sports or do something else. You know
That
what I mean?
sounds
So
good. Yeah,
I love
enjoy them.
it. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
do it every day. I do it sporadically. It just varies. I kind of rotate everything, and I see what I have to do and kind of fit it in. And yeah, I work weekends, but I actually probably spend, I don't know, 6 hours each weekend day working, depending. I don't really mind though, because mostly it's from home and it's not really a big deal.
And I was just about to ask that. Like, how many stories do you normally have to write a week? Is there a quota that you have to do, or how many stories on average do you normally do per week?
There's no quota. It
Mm.
depends. Sometimes I get asked to do a lot of stuff, and maybe I'll do 3 or 4. These are features mostly, so they're
Yeah.
long. I'm not talking
Yep.
about a short one. Um, they're probably 1,500 to 2,000 words for the most part. So they're
Right.
long stories. But yeah, it just depends. I mean, it all kind of varies. And then I, of course, have the option if I'm really busy with other stuff not to. And recently, I started a live stream hosting gig where I sell nails for a company.
Absolutely. Hot cam is what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, and we'll definitely get into that a little bit later for sure. I wanna ask this next question here though because um, I want to ask about mental health and then work life balance. Mental health is very important, especially now since it's being talked about more than ever. Obviously, in the past, it wasn't really talked about heavily, but now it is, right? And then also work life balance. I think it's very hard to get a work life balance that makes sense. And what I mean by that is, everybody's work life balance looks different. Everybody's situation is different, so it's hard to ever get 100% work life balance. I don't think you ever will. But people have faded out of this industry because of their mental health and work life balance has been affected. I would love to know from your perspective about you, how do you keep your mental health strong, but also still try to have that work life balance? Because you seem like a wonderful woman to be around, Sherry. I certainly wouldn't mind being around you. I think your friends and
Thank you.
family, excuse me, yeah, I think your friends and family feel the same way about you, but you also seem very dedicated to journalism, right? So, how do you do this? How do you keep your mental health strong without getting burnt out or overwhelmed?
Hmm. I get burned out from time to time,
Hmm.
and I feel very
Okay.
overwhelmed probably at least once a week because there's so much to do and you have to keep it all straight. And my work life balance could use improvement. I probably work more than I do anything else. So, one form or another, my social life probably is has suffered.
Mm,
So how do you keep your mental health? You just keep plugging away, I suppose, and you don't let it get to you. One day you might just feel like, oh my God, this is just too much. But you always have to remember, at least I believe you always have to remember that you never know what tomorrow will bring, and you also never even know what the next hour will bring. And
right.
so even if you feel like perhaps you're at the end of your rope, you should never you always have to keep that in mind that things can change for the better in a second, and you always have to stick around and keep hanging on for that better, because if you give up, then the better can never happen, right? Maybe that's me speaking from, I minored in psychology, so, and I do know some people that have had some serious mental health problems that have been friends, and some have given into it, and and some have done that, and they're working their way out though. So I have a friend who's working her way out for sure. um, but I think that's the secret, is keeping in mind that things can always, if you give up, you won't get to enjoy what comes next, and what comes next could be definitely worth hanging on for. That's how I view life at any rate. And I also think that you have to schedule little things for yourself.
Okay.
And I also think it's a good idea that when you schedule these little things for yourself, whatever they are, like for me, I love movies. Uh, it's a good idea, though, that if you want to schedule like a little fun thing for yourself, a lot of times it's good to schedule it for yourself, with yourself, just to give yourself a break and have it only depend upon you. And that, a lot of people can experience disappointment if they pin all of their hopes on somebody else, so to speak. If the only plan you're willing to make is to go hang out with other people. And if something goes wrong, then that can bring people down. So I've always been a person that I make sure to, I make plans with other people for sure, but I also make sure that I pick something that I want to do each week,
For
and I
sure.
have it be dependent only on myself, so that the only, if I don't do it, I only have myself, right? I'd say, hey, you said you were going to do this. Why didn't you do it?
Right. Right. I feel
I
that.
don't know.
No, I
It's a
feel that.
weird philosophy, probably, but that's kind of my philosophy.
No, that's listen, be you, be authentic. You know what I mean? No matter if it differentiates from anybody else or no matter how it sounds, I want you got to be the best version of you and what is most comfortable with you. You know what I'm saying? So no, I don't find it weird at all. At all. I want to ask a follow-up though, and that is what is some advice that you would give an individual that wants to be a multimedia journalist, that wants to get in this industry, right? Male or female.
It's going to take a lot, number one. If you are not willing to go the extra mile, go the extra sacrifice,
Mhm.
etc., then it's probably not going to be for you. It's not a 9 to 5 job. You
Right.
got to keep that in mind. You may have to move around for it. You may have to stay up late. You may have to get up early. If
No
you're,
question.
you're going to be working some holidays. If you are more comfortable leading a life where you know exactly where you're going to be at any given moment, you have set hours, and you know that when those set hours are over, that you get to go home and make plans, etc., then it's probably not the right choice. You just have to be prepared to do what it takes. And initially, and even now, you shouldn't necessarily get into it because you're thinking, well, I'm going to become this person who's making 6 figures, or I'm going to make $1 million. It doesn't, it happens for very few people that they end up making $1 million. It's a select few. So you better really enjoy what you do, and that way the salary isn't the most important thing, and having the weekends off wouldn't be as important for you, or having a holiday or going on a vacation. You're going to be willing to make those sacrifices. It has to be your passion. It has to really be what you got to be in it, because it's a passion, not
Right.
because it looks really exciting when you see people do it, or when you, I don't know, things of that nature, or you think, don't think it's easy. In other words, it's not
Absolutely.
easy.
Absolutely. What a great response there, Sherry. No question. And one of the reasons why I do this podcast is really to get a behind the scenes look from people's perspectives in the media, right? And there's been all kinds of people that have came on here with different roles, such as producer, reporter, MMJs. I know I say reporter and MMJs, but for those of you that are going to see this episode with Sherry and I, when you do reporter and MMJs, reporter sometimes you're out there doing live shots, and then you have a cameraman. MMJs are one man bands predominantly.
Yes,
Those are people that
I've
kind of
done
go
both.
around. Right, you've
Yeah,
done both, right? So you've
yeah.
had the camera crew, you've had people set up, but you've also done the live shots, and you've had somebody with you. MMJs are typically people that write, edit, produce, do all of the above, have to go set up their own equipment and stuff like that. So those particular times that you're seeing those people set up, a lot of people at home are only seeing the final product.
That's true.
Uh, and when you see
There are
the final
positive and
product,
negatives to both situations of having the cameraman and the editor versus being the one responsible. Um, there's certainly, if you're the one responsible, you can make sure that you have exactly whatever it is that you want specifically. You could be really, well, you don't have the time to be picky, but you can be picky at the same time, if you know what I mean. You
I
could be
do.
picky because you're yelling at you. So you can yell at yourself all you want if you're
Hmm.
not happy with something that you did. And I think being the one who's dependent on you, it also teaches you to a sense of responsibility in a way that maybe relying on other people doesn't. When I was in Maine and I was driving all over the place, I actually enjoyed because there were long drives between the various locations. I
Right.
actually enjoyed, well, I was seeing things I never really had seen before, and I enjoyed some of that. And there was the solace of being able to think about everything. You know, you're in a quiet, whatever, you're in your car, you're in a quiet location, you're driving back, you can think about how you want to do things, etc. So
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
Okay, I appreciate that. I do. Yeah, like I said, this is the behind the scenes kind of talk where people are finding out what's the in and outs about this industry, right? You got to do it for the right reasons. I think that if you don't do it for the right reasons, you could be miserable in this. It's a great industry to be in. I love journalism. I love storytelling, but you have to do it for the right reasons. So I love your perspective on that and your answer on that. Um, I also want to ask you this. This next question is called bucket list, Sherry. And the reason why
Okay.
it's called bucket list is because I want you to speak it into existence. I want you to give me a top four list of stories or events that you would like to do in your journalism career that you haven't done yet.
Mm, cover the convention floor for a presidential election.
Wow. Okay. Does it matter
I mean, I've
Democratic
done
or Republican?
volunteer work. Hmm?
Does it matter
Does
Democratic or Republican or both?
Doesn't matter. I
Okay.
just want to be able to do it. I did volunteer for a campaign once, and just being at a convention and seeing it, but I was a volunteer and I was nobody, right? Except a
Right.
volunteer. So it's not like
Right.
I was covering it. I just thought I felt the excitement from it, and it's like electrifying. Well, it doesn't even matter if you like the person or don't like the person. The atmosphere is so charged that
Right.
I think it would be really cool to have that experience. What else would that's the one that really comes to mind. I covered yeah, I covered some of Sandy, the aftermath of Sandy. I covered that, um, seeing the devastation of Sandy. I wasn't out there during Sandy. I'm not sure how I feel about being in the middle of a hurricane. That one I'm not sure of. The aftermath, the aftermath was probably enough for me. I've done fires. I've done a lot of different types of breaking news. So I guess for me the convention comes to mind. Um,
Okay. That's one.
Maybe being on the floor of, I don't know, a Knicks game during the finals, or any team during the finals. Doesn't
That would
have
be
to.
amazing. Yes. Maybe a parade celebration. Maybe be in the streets of New York covering the parade.
I have done that. I did a Thanksgiving Day parade when I was in Connecticut. It was fun. I was
For sure. But
surprised.
Sherry, we know that a New York Knicks parade is going to probably supersede a Thanksgiving Day parade probably about 5 to 10 times.
Oh
Uh
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's gonna be absolutely bananas. Those streets, if they're able to pull this off and win, it's gonna be bananas. I'm gonna be tuned in for sure. I'm gonna look at it. But yes, parade. Give me two more that you is on your bucket list, either stories or events that you would like to do.
Things I would like to do. Or it could be things, right? Or
Yeah, it
does
could
it
be
have to be
things.
news?
It don't have to be news. It's just things like in your career that you would like to do. Like if you want
Oh,
to
in
just
my
either
career.
yeah, that you like to either cover something or you like to go to something, interview somebody, something like that.
Well, I would like to actually get another full-time job, for sure,
Okay.
on the air. One more. That would make me happy. Do I have parameters on where? I don't know that I mean, I love the state of Maine, so that was something I learned.
Okay.
Obviously, I'd love to be on the air in New York City. That's a big ask. Probably half the population would. Um, so I, yeah, I mean, I'm not too thrilled probably about some places that I would have to move to, but
Hmm.
it'd be fun to do one more full-time job for, yeah, just, I think it would be fun to do that.
Okay.
Um, Career, other thing that so I do some live streaming. The live streaming I do is more on like a radio type of live streaming, so no one sees me. Might be fun to be a video live. I've been looking into that a little, just to be a video live streamer and actually, demo the stuff on
Okay.
camera so people could see it. That I think would be fun. That's more like a shopping. I guess it's like a shopping network type of. It might be fun to try that. So I guess those would probably be about it.
Okay. I
Those
could
kind of
rock with that.
things.
I could rock with that. Now, speaking of hot cam, sorry about that. How did you get involved with hot cam? What do you do for hot cam, and what can hot cam do for the actual consumer that consumes hot cam? Talk about that.
That was a happy accident. I was looking for jobs, and there was a post on ZipRecruiter, and I applied. And initially, they were not selling nails; they were selling Pokemon cards. I wasn't too sure about how that was going to work out,
All
but
right.
they picked me regardless, and for that, I'm very, very grateful to them. They gave me a chance. I didn't have any live stream experience, so I was grateful. And then shortly after they picked me, they switched to selling press on nails. Um,
Wow.
Now, so it worked out and that I didn't know a great deal about press on nails when I started. I have since studied up, so to speak, and learned everything that I think I should know about them. And I mean, there's still more to learn. I basically, you how do I describe what I do? Um, it's like being on the radio. So the only thing that people see when it's it's online shopping, only they're shopping for nails. And what I think the trend seems to be is that people want to get their shopping done quicker and quicker and quicker. So by going to an app, which this streams on Whatnot, by doing that though, so they can simply just go to the app, and if they have 5 minutes, they probably can get their nails bought that they want for the week in those 5 minutes. And it's relatively cost efficient. They get to see a lot of nails. If they have something special in mind, then they can ask for that special type of nail, which if we have, we have. If we don't, we don't. But it's a service. I think it's a service for people that really they care about their nails and they want to have this option. And maybe they don't want to spend, I don't know, maybe they don't want to go to the salon, okay, and spend a ton of money,
You're right.
which to get your nails done, if you're going to do it regularly, and if you want to have like press-on nails done, it can be quite, pricey. So the service that's provided is that people get to shop for what they're looking at. They want to see quickly, reasonable price, have it shipped directly to them. Doesn't take that much of their time, and they get customer service. I guess
Okay.
that's what I would say. It's
Okay.
fun. I mean, I've always wanted to do more radio. It's almost like doing more radio. It's not radio news, but kind of like doing radio.
Yeah, it's a different kind of streaming, right? And you're being informative about your brand. They're being informative about the product, and how would you say this product is selling, or is people catching on to it, or have you noticed that this product really is like booming? It works.
A lot of people, I have a lot of customers. There
Okay.
are other hosts. I'm not the only host. It's part time. So I have a lot of repeat customers.
Okay. Okay.
I think
That-
that there are other companies, obviously, that do something similar. I think this company offers a pretty good product, and people seem to agree with that. The
right.
nails are handmade, so I think if you are looking for that and they're handmade and they're different and you never, they're constantly getting different styles, so you never know what. I was going to quote something like Forrest Gump's box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get at any moment. You know, that usually they get new stuff
Okay.
once a week. So they might have, they may be not, they might not have one style one week and then they get a whole other product. It's like, oh, I don't have those. So let me see. Maybe I'll buy a few pairs, and they're, they're very reasonably priced. You're not going to, you won't break the bank.
Okay.
Let's put it
Okay.
that way.
I love it. I love to hear that. Now, I'm going to ask you about advice. Now, I asked you about advice you would give someone to be in the business, right? But I want to know, what is some advice that someone has gave you that you hold on dearly to?
Hmm, that's a harder question. I've gotten some good advice over the
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Yes.
Huh. I will say that some of it I haven't taken because I have friends and people who value making money more than what I do. And
Right.
the advice that I have received in that regard has been, why don't you go do something else and make some really good money? And of course, my answer to that is that this is what I want to do. I could do
Right.
something else, but I don't know that I'd be as dedicated to it. And I would
Hmm.
just keep missing what I was doing. I'm I guess, kind of run off emotion a little, and so when I'm really dedicated to something, I feel like I do a really good job, and when I'm not feeling passionate about it, I will do an okay job, but I'm not going to go the extra mile.
For
And
sure.
that's what
Yeah.
I've
I mean,
learned.
that's typical. That's typical and pretty normal, for most of us, for sure. Is there any stories that you've written, publication wise, or just any stories at all that you've written that have had an impact in your life? Maybe a couple that you can share.
Hmm. I have done different, I mean, I've also done some writing in the medical realm, and I wrote an article, it's a while back, on OCD,
Wow.
obsessive compulsive disorder. My
Yeah.
psychology background obviously got me very interested. So I
Okay.
wrote an article on that. And I can't prove that it had an impact, but I would hope that when
Sure.
people would read it, they would learn more about it and maybe take it. I think it's kind of in some people, they don't take it as seriously as maybe they should, because it's actually a serious condition. And it's
Right.
not about, oh, being a little bit too clean or locking the door and checking it only. It goes a lot further than that. And I think that a lot of times what has been portrayed is just simple little things about it. And I don't think people understand that it really is a serious issue. And the people who have it, it is no laughing matter for them. So I'm recently, or however many years ago, people started coming up with this expression that I think minimizes what it actually is by saying, "Oh, I'm a little OCD." Well, that just can't be a, you're not going to be a little. There is no such thing. You either,
Right.
it's a condition. It's a medical condition.
Right. Either
Uh,
are or you're not, is what you saying.
Right. So if you're a little bit cleaner than maybe your neighbor, it doesn't mean that. I think people have started to kind of downplay the significance. I actually had a really good friend for many years who had it, and he was the reason I decided to write the article. So I hope it had an impact. More recently, I didn't write this, but it's on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
My cat, in 2023, my cat Randy was diagnosed with nasal cancer. I
Wow.
never knew there was such a thing. I never knew that animals got nasal cancer.
Me
I
neither. Wow.
guess so. I mean, I did what I could do. He had radiation therapy, and I tried, I extended his life. Let's put it that way. But there was no cure for the type that he personally, or that he had, maybe personally isn't the right word, but the type he had, there was no cure for.
Right.
I did a video for my YouTube channel where I interviewed a veterinarian and just talked about the different types of nasal cancer and the fact that it can affect a dog or a cat, and the ones that have the better. There's two different types. One is better to have for a dog, and one is better to have for a cat. They're the opposites. So I did that, and it's on my YouTube channel. I mean, my YouTube channel is kind of more like for fun stuff. Fun things I'm interested in. So I have exercise videos that I've interviewed a trainer, and I've interviewed
Okay.
a plastic surgeon and I've interviewed veterinarians. So different things like that I've done. And I've
Hmm.
done some interviews with people that sell music products too when I was at the National Association of Music Merchants in Anaheim. So, but those are, just things that I'm interested in. I'm not saying it's professional stuff, but hopefully the nasal cancer video will help people to at least maybe be a little more prepared than I was. Because animals always sneeze. All dogs and cats sneeze, right?
For sure.
So, and they have periods maybe where they sneeze more than others, but
Right.
it's more of a sign of nasal cancer is sneezing. And for me anyway, I overlooked it initially because I had no
Hmm.
idea what was happening with my cat. I just thought he had allergies, and he did have allergies, so I thought he had worse allergies. But it's like a repetitive kind of thing. If that sneezing just gets more and more frequent, it doesn't seem to go away. It doesn't seem to be related to allergies or there's no rhyme or reason for it. That's one. And discharge, nasal discharge. You shouldn't just chalk it up to a cold or something like that. You might want to just bring your cat or dog to see the vet. Well,
Okay.
now I made my little
Well,
pitch. Unfortunately, my cat is not with me anymore, and I really miss him.
oh, well, definitely sending my condolences to you on that. I definitely learned something new, no question. Did not know that you can get cats can get nasal cancer, for sure. But I would definitely, I mean, I'm a dog and cat lover for sure. My mother's a huge cat lover. I'm a dog lover, for predominantly, but yeah, I did not know that. And again, sending my condolences to you about your cat because I know you probably had him for many, many years and stuff like
I
that.
did. I had him for like 12 years. He was a
Wow.
rescue.
Wow.
And
So
I mean,
there you have it.
he always had like some allergies, which is when from the time I got him. So when he
Mm.
started to sneeze more and more, I kind of wrote it off initially to allergies. And then I was like, probably has a cold. But yeah, that wasn't the case.
I understand. I understand. This has been a really enlightening, uh, definitely interesting conversation about just your why of getting into journalism, going to Queens College, going to Medill School, which is in Northwestern, which is in Evanston, Illinois, one of the most prestigious journalism schools out there, and some of the other ones that's out there is Missouri, with the NBC affiliate Syracuse, which I'm up here. That's up here near me. Indiana
Live
Grady
in
School,
mirror.
which is right, and then
Yeah.
you got the Grady School, which is UGA, and stuff like that. Just great journalism schools out there. You had the pleasure of going to one of them. Obviously, you've done a plethora of work in the spots that I mentioned before early on, but just learning about your path, your journey, being able to be in a station, but also work on print, but also now be freelance, and also just getting to know you a little bit and being able to talk to you. I think this has been an absolutely amazing conversation, Sherry. I'm a new fan of yours. I'm definitely going to be
Thanks.
tuned into anything that you do moving forward in your future endeavors. And my final question to you of the night is there anything else you would like to add before we conclude?
Well, I was going to say I'm looking forward to meeting you in person when you come to New York City and eating that sushi. And maybe we'll take some pictures so you can post them to show
Absolutely.
that
We
you
definitely
actually
will.
tried it. I
Mm-hmm.
guess I would just say that if you're a person who enjoys learning new things all the time and enjoys checking out places that you might not otherwise get the chance to check out, are willing to put in the hard work and sacrifice maybe having those holidays and weekends off, then it's a great profession. And I think there's nothing like it, quite frankly.
No question.
So,
No question about that. You guys definitely have to be ready for working holidays and working a lot of days. Vacations very limited in journalism, but again, the storytelling part is a beautiful thing. You get to tell new stories, you get to meet new people. You never know who will impact your life in a positive or negative type of way. You just never know because you're doing stuff differently every single day, especially in a freelancer type of role where you just going to cover different things at all different times. So yes, it's something that I love, and it's something that Sherry talked about. You gotta have a passion for it because you shouldn't be doing it for the wrong reasons. Money is not something that you want to do this for. Money will come if you continue to be good at it and continue to perfect your craft, but it won't start initially. It will not be there. I'm just letting you know, and Sherry also let you know. So, definitely, we need more journalists. We need more people that's going to cover this industry and cover different genres such as politics, entertainment, sports, travel, all the above. So yeah,
medical
definitely,
and legal too. I mean, yeah, you'll have a chance to make an impact, which is in in your own individual way. Everyone will have an impact in their
no
way.
doubt, no
There's
doubt,
no
and
one way to have an impact,
I
but
absolutely
you can
agree.
definitely you can raise awareness about a lot of issues,
Yes,
including
you
nasal
can.
cancer.
Which is something, like
So,
I said, I learned tonight. So I definitely appreciate that, Sherry. I want you to enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening. You and I will most certainly be in touch. And again, thank you for coming on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. I appreciate it.
thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I really had a good time. I
I did
gotta
too.
say.
You take care now.
You too. You enjoy yourself. Bye. Bye.